Ghetto gang, ghetto gang, ghetto gang. What's good to the tribe? How are you guys? You know who it is. You know what it is. You know why we here. It's Columbus Day, aka Indigenous Peoples Day in the island. Some old yachties would call this Columbus Cucamongus, but we'll get into more of that and why later. Shout out to everybody for pulling up. I so appreciate it. You could have been anywhere else in the world, but you chose to give me a moment of your time. Please make sure to hit that like, hit that subscribe, share, and tell a friend to tell a friend. Any teachers that you know that want to refute the data that I'm bringing out, any college lecturers, any historians that want to tell me how crazy I am, anybody from the Italian consulate, anybody from Spain consulate that wants to tell me how crazy I am, and let me know how inaccurate I am. Please pull up. I've been talking about for a long time how Christopher Columbus was actually a brother. He's a brother, and how he is technically what they would call a Sephardim or a Marrano, Jew, Morisco, you know, swine eater, converso. Many names that have been given to hide the true origin of these people. It's been my position for a long time that Christopher Columbus is a Portuguese Jew, hails from a place known as Cuba or Cuba, which is why in the islands a place was named Cuba or Cuba because of where he came from. But we'll get into all that in a sec. Tell me how crazy I am. Tell me why it's okay for teachers to continue to teach your children lies. Tell me why it's okay for me to continue to be told how crazy I am as I try to just shed a little light on these things. As always, each and every day, I'm thankful to the Most High for all the blessings and all the lessons that he bestows on myself and my family, and very thankful to the Most High. The gratitude is immeasurable, how grateful I am to the Most High for all the blessings he continues to put on all of Israel and you and your family in particular. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. We gonna jump in, gang, and then we gonna get to it. Let's go.
Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
Fair use, family. Fair mother flipping use. Don't play with me today. Don't play with it. Don't play with it. So what this says is Columbus's remains verified after over 500 years shows he was Jewish. This new documentary that just got played in Spain. Researchers analyzed samples from remains in Seville Cathedral believed to be Columbus's final resting place and compared them to DNA from known relatives. The DNA came back. The results showed similarities compatible with Jewish origin in both Y chromosome and mitochondrial DNA. So his father's chromosomes and his mama's chromosomes all showed he is Jewish? What? There's no way. No way. No way. The lie detector determined that you guys were lying.
The lie detector determined that was a lie. The lie detector determined that was a lie.
article from Fox News. So shout to that. Fair use, fair use, fair use, fair use, fair mother flipping use.
And within the Jewish community in
So now this is going to blow your minds. Let's go.
Spain in 1492.
Well, this is a mystery that God has kept for a long time, because we've said that Christopher Columbus is Italy. No, he's from Portugal. No, he's from Spain. Well, where is he really from? Well, they say that he was from Genoa, Italy, but his Italian writing is horrible. But his Castilian is perfect, So, so be it as it may, recently there is a growth, an exponential growth of discovery.
So Castilian, some people tried to say, oh, that meant Sicilian. He's from Sicily. No, Castile is a place in Spain. Fools. Let's keep going.
Discoveries that point to the fact that Christopher Columbus, first of all, his name is not Columbus. His name, and not because I'm Hispanic with Sanchez surname and Martinez and so forth, but his name is Colón. And so in Spanish we have it right, Cristóbal Colón. So his real name is Salvador Zarco. All right, but now recently we've discovered that Christopher Columbus, Cristóbal Colón, was known as a quote-unquote marrano. Marrano? The marranos are those that were forced to convert to Roman Catholicism. He's from
How dare you, Ghetto? Yo, Ghetto, you sound crazy. How dare you? Let's keep going.
Portugal. No, he's from Spain. Well, where is he really from? Well, they say that he was from Genoa, Italy, but his Italian writing is horrible. But his Castilian is perfect, So, so be it as it may, recently.
All right, so for those that may not know, there was two houses that took over after the Battle of Grenada in Iberia, which was Spain. The House of Castile and the House of Aragon. Castilians, where Sicilians do get their name from, but more correctly, Castilians are the House of Castile, which was Spain. Let's keep going.
There is a growth, an exponential growth of discoveries that point to the fact that Christopher Columbus, first of all, his name is not Columbus. His name, and not because I'm Hispanic with Sanchez surname and Martinez and so forth, but his name is Colón. And so in Spanish we have it right, Cristóbal Colón. So his real name is Salvador Zarco. All right, but now recently we've discovered that Christopher Columbus, Cristóbal Colón, was known as a quote-unquote marrano. His real
name was Salvador Fernando Zarco. You gotta roll that order. Zarco. Salvador Fernando Zarco. Of the House of Castile? No. Don't you say that. Don't you say that. How dare you, Ghetto? You just be, Ghetto, I really don't even like talking to you sometimes because you be trying to come off like you smart and you really don't know nothing, Ghetto. You just, you using Wikipedia, Ghetto. The Kingdom of Castile. The Kingdom of Castile, Reino de Castilla, Latina Regnum Castile, was a polity or a kingdom, a polity in the Iberian Peninsula. Iberian, Hebrews, children of Eber, Iberian Peninsula during the Middle Ages. It traces its origin to the 9th century county of Castile, in Spanish Condado de Castilla, in Latin Comitatus Castiae, as an eastern frontier lordship of the Kingdom of Asturias. Asturias. Astoria, Queens. Yo, chill, ghetto, what are you saying? During the 10th century, the Castilian counts increased their autonomy, but it was not until 1065 that it was separated from Leon and became, yes, because it was initially the House of Castile, Leon. But they separated from the House of Leon and became their own house, right? And we know what happened. The House of Castile meets with the House of Aragon, and they become the biggest, most powerful house, and they take over in Spain. 9th to 11th centuries beginnings. According to the chronicles of Alfonso III of Asturias, the first reference to the name Castile or Castilla can be found in a document written during 8800. In the Andalus was the Muslim-ruled area of the Iberian Peninsula. That looked like the whole thing, though. That looked like the Al-Andalus. Looked like they was ruling the whole thing. My God. From the Cordoban Caliphate, the Cordoban Caliphate, the oldest sources refer to it as Alquila, alkaline, alchemical, alchemy, or the castled high plains past the territory of Alava, Father God. Anyway, further south than it, and the first encountered in their expeditions from Zaragoza. The name reflects its origin as a march on the eastern frontier of the kingdom of Asturias, protected by castles, towers, or castra, in a territory formerly called Paturia. And you could continue to go over this, but yeah, so Al-Andalus, Spain. So essentially the houses of Aragon and Castile came together, and those are allegedly the people who are King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella, who allegedly funded Columbus's voyages. But we know better now, don't we? We know that his voyages were funded by Sephardic Jews, don't we? Don't we know better now? Okay, so let's keep going. I'm gonna let Del Sanchez keep cooking. Fair use. Fair use.
Well, they say that he was from Genoa, Italy, but his Italian writing is horrible. But his Castilian is perfect, you know. So his Spanish, so be it as it may, perfect. Recently,
so him knowing the language of Spain is perfect, but his Italian was terrible. Let's go.
There is a growth, an exponential growth of discoveries that point to the fact that Christopher Columbus, first of all, his name is not Columbus. His name, and not because I'm Hispanic with Sanchez surname and Martinez and so forth, but his name is Colón. And so in Spanish we have it right, Cristóbal Colón. So his real name is Salvador Zarco. All right, but now recently we've discovered that Christopher Columbus, Cristóbal Colón, was known as a quote-unquote Marrano. Marrano? The Marranos are those that were forced to convert to Roman Catholicism, that were Sephardim, and then they were forced to eat pork, which is very unkosher, and then they were called
Morrano. You swine-eating pig. You Morrano.
Marrano, pigs, swine, because you see the facade of the Spanish Inquisition. What is Inquisition? It comes from the root word to inquire. But this was more than inquiring. This was spying and forcing Jews to convert to Roman Catholicism. So what's happening during this time is that it's not...
Ghetto, shut up! That never happened! And you see, teachers steady lying to the kids. This is why I had to start this series today. Because these teachers are literally off today. Sipping coffee, watching Netflix. We're getting their backs rubbed. chilling, whatever they doing, and shout, because there's some amazing teachers out here. We're not going broad brushing. But the teachers who don't push back against the selling of these agendas wholesale to our children, I got no love for you. I have zero love for you. And any teacher, any professor, any scholar, anybody who loves to just dig in onto this stuff, anybody from the Italian consulate, the Israeli consulate, any of you want to come up to the show and tell me how this information is inaccurate, y'all know how to get in contact with me. Don't play like you don't. Don't play like you don't. His ghettopointofview@gmail.com. Let's keep going.
So much the facade of religion to force people to convert, it was greed. It's because the crown, the King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella are going broke. They're exploring all over the place.
Not Queen Isabella and King Ferdinand broke. No, that's not true. Who is this crazy man, Del Sanchez?
Wars all over the place. They need money.
Yes.
All right. So who's got the money?
I need some dollars. Dollars is what I need. Hey.
Are the financiers? Who are the ones that are so wealthy in Spain and later Portugal? Well, the Sephardim.
The Sephardims were wealthy because they were the merchants and trading all over the world. But let's go.
The Jews. Okay. So as early as 1391, there was a major diaspora, meaning scattering, because of the oppression, tortures, burnings at the stake of the Jews before and after conversion. They were being burnt. So many of them in 1391 fled to North Africa, parts of Europe, into the Middle East. So already the tension, the pressure, yet the Inquisition is not official, but already that spirit of the Inquisition, which is basically a Holocaust, okay? It's
The Inquisition was basically a Holocaust. My God, let's go.
pushing people. So on the one hand, you have ascendance of wealth and prosperity and successes and achievements, but on the other hand, you have the Spanish Inquisition coming and assaulting all of these wonderful breakthroughs.
My God, my God. Fair use, fair use. Let's keep it going. Well, y'all done started some shit today, boy. Fair use.
Experience the vibrant Jewish heritage of Spain with iWorld Travel, a leading
The
provider.
vibrant Jewish heritage of Spain. What the hell did that man just say? He's crazy. Let's go.
Of Jewish heritage travel for more than half a century. Our spiritual journey covers 22 captivating cities that hosted Jewish communities for more than 1,000 years. Share a rich
Hosted Jewish communities for more than 1,000 years, they say. Wow.
Jewish history and culture, and reveal the historic height of Jewish influence. Discover the golden age of Sephardic jewelry, when Spain was at the center of the Jewish world and Jews were at the pinnacle of commerce, finance, the arts, and diplomacy. Wander through narrow streets, step inside magnificent synagogues, and linger in the museums that safeguard this extraordinary legacy. Learn the secrets of Avila's old Jewish quarter. Stroll through Barcelona's Gothic quarter and explore the old synagogue. Unearth the rich history of Bahar Casares and Chalahura, where Jewish communities thrived for centuries.
So Sephardim Jews, people that looked like me, were at the center of commerce and the arts and politics in arguably Spain's golden era. Look at that.
Age of Sephardic jewelry, when Spain was at the center of the Jewish world and Jews were at the pinnacle of commerce, finance, the arts, and diplomacy. Wander through
My
narrow
God.
streets,
Fair
step
use.
inside magnificent synagogues, and linger in the museums that safeguard this extraordinary legacy. Learn the secrets of Avila's old Jewish quarter. Stroll through Barcelona's Gothic quarter and explore the old synagogue. Unearth the rich history of Bahar Casares and Chalahura, where Jewish communities thrived for centuries. Come to Cordoba, the birthplace of Rabbi Maimonides, and enjoy the beauty of the Jewish quarter.
That is Rabbi Maimonides. Yusuf ben Maimonides, I believe his whole name was. And that is also the person Maimonides Jewish Medical Center, one of the most prestigious and I guess technologically advanced and world-renowned hospitals there are anywhere. I mean, Maimonides, it's a very good center. It's amazing. Let's go.
With a synagogue and frescoed interior courtyards invite contemplation. Our tour takes us to the urban labyrinth of Toledo's Jewish quarter, a testament to the city's glory days as a center of Western Judaism. Tour the iconic El Transito Synagogue, now the Sephardic Museum, and marvel at the Synagogue of Santa Maria la Blanca. In Estela de Zara, Iber, and Jaén, trace the footsteps of the Jewish people and learn about their lasting impact. Walk the streets in Lyon, where the presence of Jewish community stretches back to the 10th century. In Lorca, where a medieval synagogue and Jewish quarter were discovered inside a fortified castle. And Lucena, an entirely Jewish city founded by Jews. Community stretches back to the 10th century. In Lorca, where a medieval synagogue and Jewish quarter were discovered inside a fortified castle.
A Jewish synagogue was discovered inside a fortified castle. Let's keep going.
And Lucena, an entirely Jewish city founded by Jews and called Jew City. Here, the Jewish heritage blends seamlessly with the local culture.
My God. Fair use.
Experience the enchantment of Monforte de Lemos and Oviedo, where Jewish and Christian influences coexist. Stroll Plasencia's Jewish quarter and the preserved cemetery.
Shout the world of
Visit
travel.
Ribadavia,
Shout the world of travel.
Sagunta, and
Let's
Segovia,
go.
where traces of a Jewish past can be found at every turn. And uncover the treasures of Tarazona and Tudela and explore their synagogues and narrow streets.
Tarazona. Tara. Now that's interesting that it would be called Tara or Torah Tarazona, because the feast de Tara is in Ireland and is a legendary feast or a legendary council tribunal / feast time where all the chiefs would get together of the Highlands, and that was allegedly founded by Olam Fodla, who we now know is Jeremiah of the Bible. Let's go. Oh, Father.
Immerse yourself in Tui's Jewish route and witness the Jewish heritage preserved in the museums and cathedrals.
Oh, I like this music. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Join iWorld of Travel on this
Look at that,
remarkable
7
Jewish heritage journey,
candles.
where you'll create indelible memories
Not
and forge
9.
a deep connection to the legacy
7
of Sephardic
candles.
culture in Spain.
Mm.
This is Michael Gelber, CEO of iWorld of Travel, inviting you to experience another Memories Beyond destination.
I like it. Shout the world.
iWorld of Travel.
Shout to
Expect more.
iWorld of Travel for that one, man. Definitely shouts to them. Read a little something real quick. The Jewish Telegraph Agency, huh? Is that what that says there? Christopher Columbus was genetically Spanish. Spanish researchers say new research uses DNA analysis, because I know y'all love talk about some DNA. New researchers use DNA analysis to add to long-time speculation about the explorer's identity. People visit the tomb of Christopher Columbus at the Cathedral of Seville, October 11, 2024, shortly after forensic researchers from the University of Grenada said they had confirmed that the bones buried there are in fact Columbus's. Shout out to the University of Grenada. By Felicia Kramer. Article just dropped. This is hot biscuits. Christopher Columbus was likely Jewish. I'm just going to say Jew. I'm going to take the ish part out because I don't even know if that word existed yet. Was likely Jew, Spanish. Researchers have announced in a splashing, it was likely Spanish Jew. We'll say that. Researchers or Spanish Iberian. Ooh. Or he was just Iberian. Have announced in a splashy new documentary aired on Spain's national broadcaster on Saturday. According to the documentary, the researchers spent 22 years researching Columbus's national origins before concluding that bones buried in a Seville cathedral are in fact the famed explorers. Damn, they did 22 years of research and you gonna tell me with 5 seconds of your emotions how it's all lies. Come on. You know what it, you know how to email me and let me know how this is all lies. His ghetto point of view at gmail.com. Duh. We have DNA from Christopher Columbus. Very partial, but sufficient. We have DNA from Hernando Colón, his son, the lead researcher, Jose Antonio Lorente, who is also the person who created the documentary at the University of Granada, said in the documentary, oh, here it goes, according to Reuters, and both in the Y chromosome, the male, because you are your father's seed, and the mitochondrial DNA transmitted by the mother, because these new Jewish like to try to say, oh no, you gotta, it's your mother's seed. It's completely against what the Bible said, but anyway. And then the mitochondria transmitted by the mother of Hernando. There are traits compatible with Jewish origin. So on the mother's and the father's side, this man got loyalty and royalty inside his DNA. Uh-oh. Did you just say he got loyalty and royalty inside his DNA? Fair use. Fair use.
Kendrick Lamar.
Your grandma probably snitched.
2 first names, huh? The fuck is up with that? You know what DNA stands for? Dead Nigger Association. Yeah.
Not the dead nigger association.
On police brutality with that line in the song, quote, and we hate the popo, want to kill us in the street. Oh shit.
I don't like that.
I got loyalty, got royalty inside my DNA. Cocaine quarter piece, got war and peace inside my DNA. I got power, poison, pain, and joy inside my DNA. I got hustle, though, ambition, flow inside my DNA. I was born like this and sworn like this, immaculate conception. I transform like this, perform like this, wish out you a new weapon. I don't contemplate, I meditate, then off your fucking head. This that put the kids to bed. This that I got realness, I just kill shit cause it's in my DNA. I got millions, I got riches building in my DNA. I got dark, I got evil that rot inside my DNA. I got off, I got trouble, some heart inside my DNA. I just win again, then win again like Wimbledon I serve. Yeah, that's him again, the sound that engine.
Now he got loyalty and royalty inside his DNA. Fair use, man. Oh, man, whether the findings are accurate may never be known. Sure. The forensic scientists have not yet released their raw data. And in their report, was not peer-reviewed before the documentary aired. Okay. a standard in scientific research. A Spanish report says the research will appear in an international scientific journal in the near future. So let me get this straight. So they done been doing this research for 22 years. They did 22 years worth of painstaking research at the University of Grenada. So that means anybody who was there for the past 22 years could have checked this out and looked and decided that what they were doing was inaccurate. But instead, they wait till the documentary comes out and everybody's, paying attention to say no. They didn't get any peer review done on their research. And I'm a big fan of peer reviewed scholarly work. But I think it's very interesting that they would wait 22 years to say that they haven't gotten any reviews done. I find it very hard to believe that this man has been working on this for 22 years and he's been at a reputable university working in their department at the same time, and not one person got to review this data. I have a hard time thinking that. Whether the findings are accurate may never be known. Researchers who study Columbus say the purported findings are only of limited significance. Of course, it's only of limited significance, even if true. Of course. Who are these researchers? Will you give their names, or are you just going to say researchers? I love when they do that. It's like experts. They said researchers. Scientists have found. No, nigga, name the scientist, name the researcher, name the historian, name the school, name the university, drop the name. Don't stand on your business. Stand on business. Teachers steady lying to the kids. Do you understand why this is important now? They can say doctors say, teachers say, researchers say, analysts have said. Nah. Drop the names. Tell people to stand on their business, or else I'm gonna have to determine that
The
was
lie
a lie.
detector determined that was a lie.
Kendrick Lamar.
Fair
Two
use.
first names, huh? The fuck is up with that? You know what DNA stands for?
What the freak
Dead
is up with
Nigger
those two first
Association.
names? Oh no.
Yeah.
Views on police brutality with that line in the song, quote, and we hate the popo, want to kill us in the street. Oh shit.
I don't like that.
I got loyalty, got royalty inside my DNA. Cocaine quarter piece, got war and peace inside my DNA. I got power, poison, pain, and joy inside my DNA. I got hustle, though ambition, flow inside my DNA. I was born like this and sworn like this, immaculate conception. I transform like this, perform like this, wish out you a new weapon. I don't contemplate, I meditate, then off your fucking head. This that put the kids to bed. This that I got realness, I just kill shit cause it's in my DNA. I got millions, I got riches building in my DNA. I got dark, I got evil that rot inside my DNA. I got off, I got trouble, some heart inside my DNA. I just win it.
Okay, article continues. In Columbus's own writings, DNA would only show Jewish heritage, not identity. And Columbus's own writings express both Christian beliefs and praise for the decree expelling Jews from Spain. Well, that would make sense if he was a part of the Marranos, the Moriscos, who had to convert. It would make sense that he would be on the exterior, on the outside, presenting Christian, but inside he would still be Salvador Fernando Zarco. His own writings. You mean like how in his writings he would end it with Salvador Fernando Zarco, how his Castilian was far better than his Italian, and how when he was buried, his sons did a Jewish burial for him? Which is what he requested, as he requested them to themselves identify in such a way. And this is all fact. But go ahead, Jewish Telegraph Agency. Let me let y'all keep kicking. Let me let y'all keep cooking. I encourage people to read his own writings to appreciate his complex identity. He was an autodidact who took advantage of the explosion of knowledge after the birth of printing to create an eclectic theology that had many Judaic elements, but in a deeply Christian, mystical vein. Ronnie Perez, a Yeshiva University professor who has written about Sephardic Jews of the era, told the Jewish News Syndicate after the documentary aired, "Genetics doesn't make someone Jew." What? What are you talking about? Right, it might not make you Jewish, but it certainly makes you Hebrew, sir. Certainly makes you Jew. How does genetics, when this whole thing is about family lines from Abraham? This whole thing is about family lines from Abraham. Huh? What are we talking about? All right, then. Still, the claims add a sheen of scientific credibility. Scientific credibility, huh? To longtime speculation about Columbus's national origins, which has included repeat arguments that he may have been Jew. 90 years ago, a prominent Spanish historian charged that Columbus was not Italian, as had long been believed, but Spanish, and the son of Moranos, who converted to Christianity to escape the Spanish Inquisition. Shout to Del Sanchez. More recently, a Georgetown University professor named Estel Irizarry analyzed Columbus's known writings and concluded that marks on some pages and other quirks suggested that his native tongue could have been Ladino, a Jewish language. Ladino. If you take this D and change it to a T, what we talk about here, family? If I take Ladino, which is a Jewish language, and change the D to a T, I get what, family? Latino. Family, Latino. We're going to play games, though. Others have noted the proximity of Columbus's departure. August 3rd, 1492. In 1492, Columbus sailed the ocean blue. What else happened in that year? Oh, the Alhambra Decree. The Alhambra Decree. Shout to those who walked the sands at Alhambra. Alhambra is my mother. For those with the ear have understanding, Alhambra is my mother. Anyway, to the date on which the Alhambra Decree, issued by his sponsors, King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella, in March of 1492, went into effect. The decree gave Jews a choice among expulsion, conversion, or muerte. Undisputed is the fact that several members of Columbus's crew were Jew or prominent Moranos. Several members of his crew were Jew or Morano. Is it because he was trying to find a new homeland for the Jews? The new documentary came on the Spanish national holiday, marking Columbus's exploration. It also came on the eve of what is long known as Columbus Day in the United States, the date chosen to commemorate Columbus's arrival on the continent. The date is increasingly known as Indigenous Peoples Day in honor of the native peoples whose communities, health, and culture were decimated by European expansion. Microsoft, MSN.com. Christopher Columbus was a Sephardic Jew from the Iberian Levant. The Iberian Levant. From the Iberian Peninsula? What? Yo, watch your mouth when you talking about my boy Christopher Columbus like that. I ain't talking about Christopher Columbus. I'm talking about Salvador Zarco. The broadcast of the documentary Clone DNA about the research by forensic expert Jose A. Lorente has sparked a great debate. Search that later. The genetic evidence pointing to the navigator not being Genoese and manipulating his origin has not been published. Columbus was Jewish in culture, Jewish in religion, Jewish in nationality here, and above all, at heart, because this man exudes Judaism in his writings. Not Castilian. Debatable. Not Portuguese. No, he definitely was Portuguese because he was from Cuba in Portugal. Not Galician. Not a nobleman from Mallorca, and not Genoese. According to a study on his DNA, Christopher Columbus was a Spanish Sephardic Jew, but he was born in Cuba, Portugal. Anyway, dismissing other theories about his origin, a study by the University of Grenada initiated 20 years ago to try to determine his roots argues that the discovery of America was not Genoese or Italian. The discoverer of America was not Genoese or Italian. So do not have a float of this man in the new Italian Day Parade. I don't want to see it, because then you'd be purposefully lying. And these teachers who go along with this, because many of them are Italian, are purposefully lying to the kids. Teachers steady lying to the kids. Teachers steady lying to the kids. The traditional hypothesis of his birth, supported by most historians at the Royal Academy of History of Spain, but that his birth would be located in the Mediterranean arc or in the Balearic Islands, territories that belong to the crown of Aragon. These conclusions were presented in the documentary Clone DNA, His True Origins, produced by RVTV and Story Productions, and aired on LA1 this Saturday. La Uno. This Saturday, reconstructing the 2 decades of research led by forensic expert Jose Antonio Lorente, professor of legal medicine at the University of Granada. He's a forensic investigator. Damn. So I hope you coming with forensics and genealogy to disprove him. Whoever pull up, y'all see the email. If you pull up, you better pull up correct. This televised investigation, presented in a true crime style, follows the genetic study step by step and affirms that the analysis of the mitochondrial DNA, his mama's side, and the Y chromosome, his papa's side, of Hernando Colon, son of Christopher Columbus, shows characteristics compatible with a Jewish origin. And I'm gonna say Jew because the ish is kind of later. I mean, leave that ish alone. Rejecting the rest of the theories about his background, which also linked him to 25 countries or locations, including Portugal, Galicia, Castile, Catalonia, and even Navarre. The man is from Portugal. Let's stop. The study, in which experts in history, genetics, and genealogy collaborated, places Columbus' genetic profile in the Western Mediterranean, specifically in Sepharad, the Hebrew term that designates the Iberian Peninsula. Now, Sepharad is the Iberian Peninsula, so that means it's more than just one country, correct? So that would include Spain, no? Portugal, no? And I mean, maybe I'm bugging. Maybe I am bugging. Let me just... The Iberian Peninsula. The Iberian Peninsula. Also known as Iberia, is a peninsula in the southwestern Europe, separated from the rest of Europe land masses by the Pyrenees, or a mountain range. It includes the territories of peninsular Spain, continental Portugal, smacked in the face. Continental Portugal, comprising most of the region, as well as the tiny adjuncts of Andorra, the British overseas territory of Gibraltar. How could you falter when you the rock of Gibraltar? had to let it go so I could walk on the water. And pursuant to the traditional definition of the Pyrenees as the peninsula northeastern boundary, a small part of France with an area approximately 583,254 square kilometers and a population of roughly 53 million. God damn it. It's the second largest European peninsula by area after the Scandinavian peninsula. My God. The Iberian Peninsula has always been associated with the river Ebro, Iberios, Iberian Peninsula, Ebro. You mean like the dude at Hot 97 calls himself Ebro? The association was so well known, it was hardly necessary to state. For example, Iberia was a country this side of the Iberias in Strabo. Pliny goes so far as to assert that the Greeks had called the whole of the peninsula Iberia because of the Iberus River. The river appears in the Ebro Treaty of 226 BCE between Rome and Carthage, setting the limit of Carthaginian interest at the Ebro. The fullest description of the treaty, stated in Appian, uses Iberus. With reference to this border, Polybius states that the native name is Eber. Apparently, the original word stripped of its Greek or Latin os or us termination is Eber. Eber. The word Iberia comes from the Latin Iberia, originating from the ancient word Iberia, used by Greek geographers under the rule of the Roman Empire to refer to what is known today in English as the Iberian Peninsula. At the time, the name did not describe a single geographical entity or a distinct population. The same name was used for the Kingdom of Iberia, natively known as Kartli, in the Caucasus, the core region of what would later become the Kingdom of Georgia. The Caucasus Mountains would become the core region of the Kingdom of Georgia. Damn, that's drop. Yo, Ghetto, you doing too much, man. You saying a lot of nothing. I know, according to the data provided by the documentary director Regis Francisco, around 200,000 Jews lived in Spain in the Middle Ages, while the Italian peninsula only between 10,000 and 15,000. There was a much larger Jewish population in Sicily, where around 40,000 lived, but we must remember that at the time it belonged to the crown of Aragon. In both places, they were expelled in the 12th century and from Spain in 1492. So since the 1300s, they had begun being expelled. Beautiful. I'm gonna read this, although the exact place of his birth not been. It's Portugal. Let's stop. The most likely thesis defended by Laurent is that Columbus was from the Iberian Levant, which is all of continental Portugal. If there was no Jews in Genoa in the 15th century, the chances of it being there were minimal. My God. There are no solid theories or clear indication that Christopher Columbus could be French. Sicily would also be strange because if not, Christopher Columbus would have written with some Italian or Sicilian language traits. Exactly. His Italian was trash. According to my history, he was born into a family of silk weavers in Valencia, where there were a long tradition with the Jewish community dedicated to this profession. They were masters of mercantile. They are the merchants. I believe, what has come out in the DNA study that Columbus was Jewish in culture, Jewish in religion, Jewish in nationality, and above all at heart, because this man exudes Judaism in his writings. Stop it. Y'all want him to release the data, he'll release the data so y'all can refute the data. And we'll go back and forth and we'll play this game. Fair use.
How many people really realize what happened within the Jewish community in Spain in 1492?
Well, this is a mystery that God has kept for a long time. Because we've said that Christopher Columbus is from Italy. No, he's from Portugal. No, he's from Spain. Well, where is he really from? Well, they say that he was from Genoa, Italy, but his Italian writing is horrible. But his Castilian is perfect, So, so be it as it may, recently there is a growth, an exponential growth of discoveries that point to the fact that Christopher Columbus, first of all, his name is not Columbus. His name, and not because I'm Hispanic with Sanchez surname and Martinez and so forth, but his name is Colón. And so in Spanish we have it right, Cristóbal Colón. So his real name is Salvador Zarco. All right, but now recently we've discovered that Christopher Columbus, Cristóbal Colón, was known as a quote-unquote marrano.
He was a marrano.
Marrano? The marranos are those that were forced to convert to Roman Catholicism, that were Sephardim, and then they were forced to eat pork, which is very unkosher, and then they were called marrano, pigs, swine, because you see the facade of the Spanish Inquisition. What is Inquisition? It comes from the root word to inquire. But this was more than inquiring. This was spying and forcing Jews to convert to Roman Catholicism. So what's happening during this time is that it's not so much the facade of religion to force people to convert, it was greed. It's because the crown, the King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella are going broke. They're exploring all over the place, wars all over the place. They need money, all right? So who's got the money? Who are the financiers? Who are the ones that are so wealthy in Spain and later Portugal? Well, the Sephardim, the Jews, okay. So as early as 1391, there was a major diaspora, meaning scattering, because of the oppression, tortures, burnings at the stake of the Jews before and after conversion. They were being burnt. So many of them in 1391 fled to North Africa, parts of Europe, into the Middle East. So already the tension, the pressure, yet the Inquisition is not official, but already that spirit of the Inquisition, which is basically a Holocaust, okay, is pushing people. So on the one hand you have ascendance of wealth and prosperity and successes and achievements, but on the other hand you have the Spanish Inquisition coming and assaulting all of these wonderful breakthroughs. I have a theory. This is my personal theory, and a lot of the pedigreed historians, may disagree, but that's okay. At least we agree on the principles, of it. But I think that he was Columbus was trying to get as far away as possible from anything to do with the possible tentacles of the Inquisition, which were growing more and more throughout the then known world. Okay, for example, once Colón gets with his entourage of Sephardic Jews into the New World and they are establishing themselves, and after Columbus, Don Luis de Carvajal comes across the Atlantic. He's a Sephardic Jew. His wife is a Sephardic Jew.
My God.
La Santa Catalina ship is filled with Sephardic Jews, family members. Letters begin to come back from Mexico, as an example, saying, la gente prohibida ha llegado, se están multiplicando y prosperando. What did I say? The prohibited people, this is the click. The prohibited people have come across the Atlantic. They're here, they're multiplying, and they're prospering. Send us the Inquisition because they're here. So what is the point there? La gente prohibida, the prohibited people, were prohibited from what? from crossing the Atlantic. So why? Because you're so far, we can't get a hold of you. Well, that's exactly what the Jews wanted to do.
My God.
Breakthroughs, okay. So that's pretty much what's happened.
Shout to Del Sanchez, man. Real quick, Columbus probably Spanish and Jewish, the study says, BBC. Shout to Alex Smith. Famed explorer Christopher Columbus was likely Spanish and Jewish, according to a new genetic study conducted by Spanish scientists that aimed to shed light on a centuries-old mystery. Scientists believe the explorer whose expedition across the Atlantic in 1492 changed the course of world history was probably born in Western Europe, possibly in the city of Valencia. They think he concealed his Jewish identity or converted to Catholicism to escape religious persecution. The study of DNA contradicts the traditional theory, which many historians had questioned, that the explorer was an Italian from Genoa. Columbus led an expedition backed by Spain's Catholic monarchs, though that's not true, seeking to establish a route to Asia. Stop it. But instead, he reached the Caribbean. Stop the lies. His arrival there was the beginning of a period of European contact with the Americas, which would lead to conquest and settlement, and deaths of millions of indigenous peoples to disease and war. Countries have argued for years over the explorer's origin, with many claiming him as one of their own. Italy, Sicily, France. There had been an estimated 25 conflicting theories of his birthplace, including Poland, Great Britain, Greece. He's from Portugal, Hungary, and Scandinavia. The study began in 2003 when Jose Antonio Lorente, professor of forensic medicine at Grenada University, and the historian Marcial Castro exhumed what were believed to be the remains of Columbus from Seville Cathedral. So they literally pulled his body out and did DNA on it. Columbus died in the Spanish city of Valladolid in 1506, but wished to be buried on the Caribbean island of Hispaniola. His remains were taken there in 1542, but centuries later were transferred to Cuba before being finally laid to rest in Seville. Damn, they took it back. The researchers also took DNA samples from both the tomb and the bones of Columbus's son Hernando and brother Diego. Oh, so they made double, triple, quadruple sure, since the scientists have compared the genetic information with that of historical figures and the explorer's relatives in order to try and solve the mystery. Previously widely accepted that he was born in Genoa to a family of wool weavers, but they now believe he lived in Spain and was Jewish, and they think he hid his background to avoid persecution. Gang, teachers steady lying to the kids. Y'all see what it is? This ain't a joke, man. We gotta stop allowing these people to do this to our children. We gotta start demanding that our children are being given a correct and accurate representation of history. Well, why is that important, Ghetto? Why does that even matter, Ghetto? Why are we not looking at the future, Ghetto? Why are we not just moving forward to tomorrow, Ghetto, and being futurists? Because you cannot have a prosperous future without knowing the pitfalls of the past with which to avoid. If you do not learn from your history, you are doomed to repeat it. And if all this happened because they were trying to avoid an inquisition, what would stop this from happening to another persecuted group again? Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. So the people saying that he was Italian, Genoan, Scandinavian, Slavic, that was a lie.
The lie detector determined that was a lie.
Oh, that was a lie. You all are lying about that. Oh my God. Stop freaking lying. We're going to leave part 1 right here for today, gang. It's your boy Ghetto. I hope you've been entertained, enlightened, and amused. I'll see you later.
Thank you for coming. I'll see you in hell.